welcome back to my channel. This is That's Kenny. Today we're going to be covering a little bit of everything that I've learned from the recent trip that I took to Denver. If you guys hadn't seen those videos, make sure to check them out. My last video was regarding Denver, and then I also have a Denver vlog, so make sure to check that out here. But just wanted to tell you guys what I learned while traveling, things that I think will be helpful to you, and then I'm going to give you my honest opinion to let you know, do I think we should be traveling or not during this pandemic. Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to all of my loyal subscribers. If you're new, you've never seen my videos before, make sure to hit that subscription button and then also hit the notification bell, because that there will make sure that you're notified every time that I post. But other than that, I do want to let you guys know I'm on my way to getting monetized. The way that you guys can help me is by watching my videos in full, in its entirety, just watching them completely. It just really helps me. I know sometimes I get talkative and all that stuff, but if you guys can do that, I really would appreciate it. But other than that, let's go ahead and get right into the video. Okay guys, so let me just tell you a little bit about my trip. Me and my sister went to Denver, Colorado just a few weeks ago. We were able to do that here this past, I believe it was at the end of August, and we had such a great time. Now, I know you're worried about me traveling during the pandemic, but I tried to be safe. I tried to have all my precautions. So I'm gonna just go over a few things that I've learned, but that's just a little bit of detail about my trip, and let's get into the first tip that I have. Okay, so the first tip that I have is to make sure that you wear a breathable mask. When you get on the airplane, you're going to have to wear your mask at all the entire time. So you want to make sure that you have a mask that allows you to breathe and allows you that's not suffocating. I know some of the masks that people have made, they're just not comfortable. So make sure you wear a mask that's not only protecting you, but that is comfortable. I chose to fly Southwest. Southwest is the airline that I will always choose to fly because, one, during this pandemic, I have seen that they really care about their customers. Up until like mid-October, they will be making sure that none of the middle seats will be occupied. So that means to you that makes it a little bit safer. You can allow you to have that distance that you need. Now my sister, I believe she flew another airline, but that airline was worried about making sure that they could pack the plane, and she was a little uncomfortable. So just remember, when you are picking airlines, when you're needing to fly, just make sure that you pick an airline that is taking COVID-19 precautions. Nice thing about the airports, there was tons of hand sanitizers, but my next tip is to take your own precautions. One thing that I did, I put a little Lysol wipes in a baggie, and I wiped down the seats. I wiped down everything that I took. I was able to take a little Lysol can and keep that in my purse, and that passed pre-check perfectly. So make sure you have some type of sanitization. Don't rely on the airport, because they may run out, something may happen, and then you'll be looking like Boo-Boo the Fool because you don't have anything to clean. So just make sure that you take the extra precautions to wash your hands, that you're wiping things down, that you're not touching extra things, because that'll help you in the long run. Number 3, when booking your trip, make sure you look at the duration of your trip. Now my husband's birthday is next month, and I've been thinking about possibly taking him somewhere, but all the places that I've been wanting to take him have durations over 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. That is way too long to be in an airplane. Now regularly I would have been perfectly fine with that, but just remember that being in that airplane and then the air not being circulated, all that stuff, bacteria, all that stuff. So keep in mind how long your flight is. If I were you, I would recommend maybe just doing one ways instead of having to get off the plane, get into another airport and all that stuff. So if you can book one ways, I know sometimes they're a little bit more expensive, but that is going to help you in the long run. So going with one ways, I also recommend, this is number 4, to either try to find red eyes, which are like late at night, or early morning flights. Typically, I asked one of the stewardess I asked them, hey, what do you think, like, where is the busy times? And they say during the day. Most people aren't flying in the morning, and most people aren't flying at nights. So I know it may cut your trip short, or you may get there really early, but maybe think about getting that really early morning flight, because not that many people will be at the airport. Thus, there's less contact for you. Now let's talk about the airport. When you get into the airport, I flew out of an airport in Tennessee. They are making sure that they have the precautions there. The only time that you have to take your mask down is when you have to go through security. But through the security lines, they are making sure that they are getting you through quickly. Now the airport that I went through, they didn't make me take off my shoes. They didn't make me take off my belt. I felt like I was in TSA pre-check. So make sure to check with your airline or your airport to see if they're doing any expeditions or any extra things to make moving through the lines a little bit faster. I know I really appreciated that our airport did that, because it just made me feel less stressed when it came to having to stand by people and take my mask off and take my clothes off, touching bins and all that stuff. I felt like they were sanitizing and they were doing things precautiously. Now, one thing that I will make sure to mention, if you are thinking about taking a flight, I recommend that you book now. Don't wait till the last minute. Typically with some flights, I like to wait till the last minute, but I'm like a 6-monther type of person. At the 6-month mark, I've already had my tickets. But if you're a last minute person, think about it. So, like for instance, Southwest, they're not doing the middle seats. So that means that they have less seats to sell. So therefore, there's just not that many tickets available to the public. So if you are wanting to fly somewhere, you might as well book it now, and then if there is a cancellation, luckily you'll find out and get your refund. But I would not wait till the last minute. That is just not a good idea. Okay, so my next tip is going to be pack light. I typically overpack every time I travel, but in this case, remember, you don't want to have to come in contact with people. You don't want to have to stay in the airport. You don't want to have to elongate the time that you're around groups of people. So therefore, if you have a carry-on, 1, you keep it in your sight. 2, you don't have to wait at baggage claim. And then 3, you don't have to worry about people sorting through your things, doing extra checks. So I would definitely recommend packing light. Okay, so as far as getting on the plane, I know I mentioned to you that there were no middle seats, but if you are flying with a family, luckily they are allowing everybody to sit together. As far as getting on the plane, they had made different precautions, just trying to make sure they alleviate groups. So one thing that I will always recommend, make sure if you're one that likes to pick up coffee or likes to get breakfast when you go to the airport, null and void. Make sure you do that before you get in the airport, because you don't want to have to stand in lines and be around people, because it's impossible to keep the 6 feet between people at the airport. So one thing that the airlines are doing when they call you up to get on the plane, they're only allowing 10 people at a time. So that's really nice, because that means that in the cockpit or wherever that little long thing that people always line up in to get on the plane, people aren't gathering there. They're just only allowing 10 people to go. They sit down and then they keep it moving. So with that being said, that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable, because I don't feel like I was really in contact with anybody when it came to getting on the plane. So another tip that I have is when it comes to when you land, when you get to your hotel or when you get to your destination, make sure that you have clothes that you can change into, because the clothes that you're going to be wearing are going to be filthy. They have all types of stuff on there. We don't know if it's bacteria. We don't know if it's corona. We don't know. And then change the mask that you have. Unfortunately, I didn't change the mask that I had the entire time, but I wish I would have, because now thinking back, that's a little nasty. But you know, that's here nor there. That's why I'm here to tell you guys about everything that I've learned. So if you can change and wash your face, maybe take a shower after you get off the plane, the cleaner the better, especially when you're going to go see family. You know, you just never know. Now, another tip that I have is when you're traveling, maybe think about going to places that you never thought about going to places that you could social distance. Like we went to Colorado. We didn't do anything that required us to be around people. We walked around downtown. We went hiking. We did all types of stuff that would require social distancing. Vegas, Miami, New York, those are probably not places that you should go. I would definitely take time to yourself and just find some place that you can go and relax. These are the vacations that you need to be relaxing. If you're going to have to go back to family, that's a little bit different, but the reason why I say that you want to find somewhere that you wouldn't naturally go to, that you really can't party in, is because then it will prevent you from having to be around people that you don't need to be around. Okay, so last tip that I have here is going to be go to sleep. Just go to sleep. Just try to relax, take some medicine, maybe some melatonin or something. Try to relax just so you're not having to be up and at it and be doing stuff, because sometimes when we're nervous, we bite our fingers, we're chewing gum, we're doing all this stuff. If you could keep your mouth closed, if you could keep your eyes, like, just go to sleep and relax. Okay guys, so I appreciate you guys looking at those tips. I know it was a little bit more than 10, but I thought that those tips were going to be a little helpful to you. If you are traveling, just make sure to be safe, make sure to do your research, and do not wait till the last minute. I hope that you guys watch this entire video, because like I said at the beginning of the video, it really helps me out when you watch it in its full entirety. But other than that, I appreciate you guys for coming today and just hanging out with me and getting these tips. I hope you wrote them down. Make sure to follow me over at Instagram here. Tell me what you liked about this video, and go check out that Denver vlog if you hadn't already, and I have some extra Denver tidbits that I didn't put in that vlog on my highlights. So other than that, I hope to see you guys next week, and I'm out.